In today's video, you're going to see a fun fishing report from the Chassahowitzka River. This is an area I've never fished before. I went with fellow member Jimmy Tintle. What a cool fishery. Lots of reds up in the shallows, lots of life, also lots of rocks. So it was very nerve-wracking going from spot to spot. And what you'll see is we had to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We had to try out different lures, even tried out a prototype lure, ended up having an absolute blast. Here's the trip. All right, so we just pulled up to spot number one. I'm going with top water. Jimmy is as well. I got the Moonwalker. We're gonna start with this. We've got some shallow shoreline here. We're basically waiting on the tide to come up a little bit more. So we're gonna fish this shoreline. See some rocks shooting up right there. We're gonna see if we can get onto some fish. So as you can see, the water was very clear and calm, and so we were really just power fishing with the goal of just finding fish. We were using top water, moving fast, and even if we spooked and that was okay, we at least wanted to make sure that we were fishing in an area with life. We did spook a few fish, but not that many, and so we pushed into this little creek, and this was the first fish of the day. And really, again, we were just covering ground, and I was casting over this little creek where it got down a little bit deeper, and there was a redfish sitting right in the hole. Oh, there we are. There we are. Got a fish on the old Moonwalker. I was just about to switch to the subsurface. Oh, look at that nice fish.
Coming right at you.
Yeah. See if you can get that one to hit. Oh, nice red. Nice red. What do we have here? Looks like we have a little small red. Fish on the board.
That didn't take long.
No. Let that guy go and let's see if we can get that big one. Always nice to start off the day with the topwater red. Shortly after went to switch to subsurface, it was just so calm and clear that the topwater is a little bit too much vibration, too much noise, so time to make a switch. All right, switching over to subsurface. I'm gonna go with the bomber. I saw some decent sized mullet swimming around. This cast led to the next redfish catch, and the fish were real spooky, and so the key was just making long casts and just being as quiet as possible and waiting for the strike. Oh, there we are. Nice.
Nice fish.
Nice, coming right at us. There we are. Sweet, we got a lot of fish here. Nice. Solid fish.
25.
Yeah, it's upper slot. Just nice. Barely hooked. Look at that, barely hooked. That's cool. Doesn't know where to go. We got him holding up. That was awesome. All right. The trusty Slam Shady Bomber got the job done. We kept fishing on that shoreline and just saw a lot more redfish spook before I could get the lure to them, so time to make a change. All right, lure change needed. Seeing a lot of fish. This thing is just probably a little bit too loud. All right, switching over to the mulligan. 4-inch paddle tail, much smaller, but still cast far. This was just the second cast after the lure change, and Jimmy said to go cast up to those rocks, and sure enough, he was right. This was the next catch of the trip. Oh, there we are, second cast. That's more like it. They needed a smaller profile. That is awesome. This is a special fishery here, man. You weren't playing around. Jimmy called it. So I come up here near the rocks. There we are. No, they're just beautiful redfish. Nice copper color to them. Awesome, little bit blue tail. This is the mulligan. I put the 3/0 Haas Helix hook, the 1/8 ounce weight. I got the job done. Very nice. And he's off. Let's do it. A lot of good rocks way up there. Oh, there we are.
There you go.
Solid trout.
Told you we were good for a trout.
Yeah, I was admiring some rocks way over there, and just
what you found.
Yeah, I just let the lure was just dropping. That is a really nice trout. Yeah, he was definitely not taking no for an answer on that. Oh, come on. Check out that guy. Beautiful trout. Sucked it down. Can't even see that mulligan. We got a really nice trout bite. This was a deeper section that Jimmy knew about. A lot of trout were in here, so time to test out a new lure. All right, so prototype lure. Jimmy's actually the expert with these type of suspending baits, and so brought some along to see if we can get some trout action or redfish or anything for that matter. Oh, there we hit one hit right there. A little tiny guy. They're definitely down there smacking it. I think there must be just a lot of small ones. They're not sucking it down. So what kind of cadence do you do with these things?
So it depends. Like most people do a twitch,
Yeah.
and then let it pause.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and I'll do a rip, 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 and reel at the same time.
Huh.
Rip, 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 and then pause. Or I'll just, like, if I'm in 6 inches of water, I'll just rip it right through.
Huh. So just constant ripping, where it's almost like a
Yep.
spoon going through the water.
Yep.
All right.
And then other times, you'll keep your rod tip up
Mm-hmm.
and just crank real fast. So
Mhm.
just go,
Yep.
and then let it pause.
Hmm.
And let it pause. So really, you just got to find out which way they want it
Yep.
and how do they want it.
Got
And then
it.
other times in the wintertime, it's just a lift,
Yeah.
and let it fall.
Just go super slow.
Yep.
Yeah, they're down there smacking. There we are. I could see. I could see the white lure just going around. I think it's a lot of just little small trout. I've snagged this guy. We apparently got all the big trout up from that hole at the beginning. So after some of the small ones, we went back to the shallows looking for redfish. And these redfish were scattered around, but just every so often we'd get a good strike. Oh, man. Do you have one too?
Yep.
Oh, it was following. I stopped it, and then I started reeling again. And it goes, boop, and I was just trigger happy. That was a legit fish too, man. So finally the water started coming up and we were able to push back into some creeks, and this was the first creek where it was finally deep enough to get some fish.
A little deeper right here.
There we are.
Oh, thanks, man.
Right up along the shoreline. Pulled up in one of the creeks, see if we had enough water, and not as big as the other ones, but there's fish. That is a cool looking red. Back here in some dark bottom. Slurp down the paddle tail. So as the sun got higher and the water got higher, it just got crystal clear, just beautiful water. Looking for redfish, we saw a lot. They were super spooky. Here's a cool sight fishing opportunity. Nice red right here. Oh, if he eats, it's gonna be amazing. Oh, oh man, he thought about it. So we kept pushing back into the backcountry as the water got higher, and that's when the fishing started getting really good. We had some GoPro issues, but had some really fun fish back there. All right, we had some technical difficulties out here, and in the meantime, Jimmy just got this nice redfish, skimming that shrimp, a little shrimp lure over the grass. That's sick. Had a GoPro malfunction, and I cast it over this little creek, and this red just came up and just torpedoed on it. Jimmy just caught a nice red, and now my turn. All right, nice fish. Heck yeah. Let him wrap around. Oh. This 15-pound mono is holding up nice. Solid fish there. That was awesome. Beautiful redfish. Lure perfectly right in the nose. What an awesome fishery this is. Let's let this guy go and get some more. So this was the last spot we fished. We were just talking about where the snook were. We were surprised we hadn't seen any, and here's what struck. Oh, I got one. There we are. All I gotta do is talk trash. This might be snook. Oh, nice. There's the slam. I'll have 15-pound test though. That's not good. It's a good sized snook. Had to really lighten up on my drag. Yeah.
You want me to net that one?
Yeah, probably net. Oh man.
Awesome.
Yeah, game over. Oh, that was cool though. At least had a slam on. Shortly after that snook, we had to go in, so I didn't get my slam, but at least hooked into all three species. But what a fun trip. That Chassahowitzka River area was just awesome. The bad news though is there's a lot of rocks, so definitely not an area to go to without somebody who knows the water. Fortunately, Jimmy showed me around. He's been fishing that area for many years. And yeah, Jimmy, what a thrill. Thank you so much for taking me out there. So as far as key lessons learned on that trip, number one is the fact that these fish are spread out. So this is the time of year that's starting to get warm. These fish are starting to spread out. And so covering water is crucial. And on calm, clear days like that, casting long distances is incredibly important. We saw a bunch of fish out there, but by the time we saw them, they'd be 30, 40 feet away from us, and they're already starting to spook off. So most of our strikes happened on the outer stretches of our cast. So having light line is a big deal. And also making sure that there's not too much gap in between your line and your spool. That needs to be no more than 1/8 of an inch. The bigger that gap, the shorter your casting distance. As simple as that. And so extra distance is crucial on spots like this where there's shallow water and calm and clear. Stealth is incredibly important. And staying on that same topic, right, we started with topwater, so early in the morning, stealth isn't quite as important. Those fish are gonna be more aggressive. So topwater is used to find the fish. We got one strike, and then went to a bigger paddle tail, right? It still gets a lot of attention. And as the sun came up, it just became just too much vibration. This big old tail kicking off a lot of vibration. So then made the switch to the smaller lure. This is the 4-incher with a smaller tail, and this was the ticket. I was using this is the mulligan, here's the actual one. So I was using the mulligan, which is a 4-inch paddle tail, same shady color, with a 3/0 Haas Helix hook, 1/8 ounce weight. This was great for me for buzzing the shallows without getting snagged. And Jimmy went with even a smaller lure. He was using a 3-inch little shrimp lure, and he had it rigged weedless so he can just buzz right over the top of the grass. And so smaller was better that day in particular. So just very, very important. Stealth, and then make sure to pay attention to the size of your lure to make sure that you're matching with what those fish are responding to best. So as for overall equipment, I was going with the TFO Pro. This is a 7.6 medium power rod. I have a Daiwa Legalis 2500 size reel, and then 10-pound J-braid 8 grand. And I had that connected to a leader, so about a 2 foot or so leader, and it was 15-pound Andy mono. Early in the morning, I would, just in case some big snook or anything came in for a surprise showing, I did have a 30-pound tippet for the early morning hours. Once that sun was up and that water was just so clear, going light is very important. And so just stuck with a 15-pound leader. That's plenty strong enough for redfish and trout. And then when a snook comes along, it's a little bit risky, but at least we held through this particular trip. So any questions all about this trip, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd be happy to help answer any questions you might have. Otherwise, yeah, just thank you so much for watching. This area was awesome. My first time ever visiting this zone, and I will surely go back there again. It was really cool. I'm just going to be super cautious when traveling because of so many rocks that just pop out of nowhere. So thanks again for watching. We hope to see you again soon.